Hello, Pastor Royce. Can you hear us okay? I'm going to unmute you. You doing okay tonight?
Yes. How about you?
Yes, sir. I'm glad you joined us. I appreciate you being here.
All right. You didn't work too hard today, did you?
You going to ask me that question in front of everybody? You're going to make me blush. Just a few more moments and we'll get started. Just a couple more minutes.
All right.
Trey?
I heard somebody say my name.
Yeah, Raymond. Did I come in?
Say again?
I'm on, but can you hear me? Good.
I can hear you. Yes, sir. We can't see you, but we can hear you.
All right, sir. I'm trying to get myself straightened out.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, join meeting. I'm not a robot.
Your hand says they click on open Zoom meeting.
Join the meeting.
Jerry Beth, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
All right. Well, it's 6 o'clock and I think we've got everybody in the room. So I'm going to go ahead and call the city council to order. Pastor Royce is here with us. Mr. Pastor Royce Calloway from Independent Christian Fellowship. He's here for our invocation this evening. I just want to say thanks for joining us. We appreciate you. And if you would, please open us up, sir. I'm going to go ahead and unmute you real quick. All right. Can you hear me okay, Pastor?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. The floor is yours, sir.
All right. Oh, great Heavenly Father, come to this evening, bow our heads on my heart and say thank you, sir. Father, we thank you for able to rise this morning for fortune our health and strength. Father, we ask you the decision that is made tonight, let it be for the best for this city and for the residents. And Father, guide them the right way to go. And believe in the blessings we ask in your daughter's son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Very well. Thank you very much, sir. All right, Ms. Jerry Beth, if you would, please call the roll.
Mayor,
Here.
Mr. Philip Powell, Miss Stewart,
Here.
Mr. Cordell,
Here.
Mrs. Bridges,
Here.
Mrs. Elmore,
Here.
Mr. Biles,
Here.
Mr. Jones,
Here.
Mr. Hatton, I know he's here. I've seen him.
He's muted right now. Raymond, if you can hear us.
Mr. Florence, and I know he's here too. I've seen him too. And Mr. Butler.
Here.
Okay. All right, Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. Hope everybody's doing okay this evening. The agenda was passed out through a virtual link last Thursday. Hope everybody's had an opportunity to review it. And if there aren't any changes or concerns about the meeting minutes from September 14th, I'll take a motion to approve them.
So moved. Second.
I got a motion by Coy Butler. I think a second by Matt Cordell. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the minutes pass. We are going to have a public comment from Ms. Val Turner this evening, a bit of an audible, and I want to welcome her. And Ms. Val, you have the floor, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, thank you for taking some time out to hear from me this evening. Probably about something that you may or may not know about. So back in, it's been over a year, you allocated some money for the census, and thank you very much for that. We're predicting that we've done quite well this year regarding the census, but it has been extended until the 31st of this month. Just FYI, that's my aside. One of the things that we purchased for the city was a blow-up movie screen. It is about 25 feet high. You just hook it up. It's got a blower in it. You blow it up. We had it out for fireworks night back in July. And the reason that I'm here to speak to you tonight is to ask to borrow it for the Carver Alumni Association. We are planning a family movie night on Halloween. With COVID-19, they're giving some options for different things that you can do in lieu of door-to-door trick-or-treat. So Carver thought that its inaugural event for our resource center would be to have a drive-in movie night on that field that is just south of the Carver building. And so the vision is to use a blow-up movie screen, show a family-friendly movie, have people literally drive their cars in and park them. And it's free to everyone. And we are going to deliver to their cars hot dogs, sodas, chips, drinks. We have a couple of the churches that are donating candy for us to give out. And so I am here to ask to borrow that movie screen. And I also would like to just suggest to you that you come up with a plan for the future. I know that you have a lot of business to take care of, and you probably didn't even know you had this blow-up movie screen, but it might be something that other nonprofits in the community are interested in utilizing. So perhaps you should have a plan where that can just happen without, I don't mind being the tester. So thank you for letting me be the tester for this. All right, but that is my request, is that we be allowed to borrow the blow-up movie screen for the 31st for an event.
I make a recommendation that the Carver Association is able to use the movie screen.
Second.
All right. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you, Val. Appreciate
All right,
it.
thank you.
Thanks for doing that for the community.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Come on out and join us.
All right, guys, next on the agenda is the 2022 executive report. I don't know if Anna's with us this evening. Has anybody heard from Anna?
Not this evening.
Nope. And I also have sent Gene Eagle a message, and I haven't heard from him as well. So if they happen to join us later this evening, and there's no objections, then we'll circle back and get a report from both of them. All right. Mike, you with us? Community centers on the report from the community centers up. You get the floor, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
For the month of September, my monthly report, you can see that our memberships are fluctuating. Last month we were quite a bit more than this month. So we're gonna keep trying to just get it at a steady level. This was one of our better months as far as profit, our best month for this year anyway. Events that we've got going on, we chose a month, which is Dylan Hunter. Good morning. Through
I think he's having some connectivity issues. Mike, are you still with us? Okay. All right. There he is. Mike, are you still with us? All right. What we're going to do is keep going down the line, and we'll circle back, let Mike reconnect and come back and give him another opportunity to give a report, hopefully without having any connectivity problems. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
All right.
I can hear you.
All right. Well, we'll
Yes, sir.
make do with what we got, do the best we can. All right. On the agenda would have been a community development, but if you guys aren't aware, Mr. Dan Salinger does not work with the city any longer. We are currently working to rehire his position. In the meantime, Vonda will be our interim code enforcement officer, and Regina is back on building permit duty. It's temporary, but slight setback, but we will move forward. If you guys have questions, concerns, bring them to me offline if you would. All right. Justin, if you can hear me okay, you get the floor for your report.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I don't have much tonight. I got my monthly report. We had 12 EMS calls, 16 fire-related calls with a total of 28. We were on scene for 12 hours and 30 minutes. The average attendance of 4.14. I don't have anything else to ask for, but tomorrow we're doing some training over on Desmukes. Kelly Rather donated us a house to train in. If y'all looked at Facebook last night, I posted we're going to reroute a little bit of traffic. Just for the local, I'm going to shut down John Pack at 89 so we don't have all the normal cut through traffic coming through there. So all the traffic should be going through the neighborhood is the people that live over there. Anybody got any questions for me?
All right. Thanks, Chief. Appreciate the time.
You're welcome.
All right. Let's go back. Mike, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's try it again. You got the floor, sir, for the community center report.
Okay, I'll just cover my events. A September member of the month is Draylon Hunter. We have a swim meet this Saturday. It'll be probably our last one for the year. Early voting, which is going to be a big event for us. A lot of people hopefully gaining some new members out of all of it. It's from the 19th through the 3rd. The memo van on November the 17th. And I think you've got a flyer in your packet that explains it all. And Baptist Health will be at the center on the 28th of October, giving free flu shots. And soon I'll have my numbers for the pool pack, which is going to be my major purchase for the year. And hopefully we'll have those next week.
Any questions?
That's all I've got, man.
Any questions?
Mike, can you hear me?
Yeah.
It's Suzanne.
Yes.
I've got a couple of questions.
Okay.
On the mammogram screening, is that going to be a free screening or will they need to pay for that if they don't have insurance?
It's a free, but you've got to pre-register. They can only take, she told me they can only take so many. So whoever wants it, like I said, they've got to there's a number to call and make an appointment.
Okay, that's a good service for the community. I'm hoping we can share that maybe on Facebook. Is there like a some kind of a link that you could share not only the mammogram screening but the free flu shots, that we could share it on Facebook with our constituents and help get the word out there?
Yes, I'll get with the mayor and he'll put it on Facebook for me.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you. Those are great services.
Anything else for Mike? All right, appreciate your time, Mike. All right, Jim Kelly, Public Works report. You get the floor, sir.
You hear me all right in there?
Well, it sounds like you're in a bit of a hole.
Really? I mean,
There
get a
you
little better.
Yeah, much better.
Okay. Monthly water report, pretty standard. Quite a few water leaks. Did a lot of work on the streets. Water loss was at 11.15%, which is really good. The project at Kirk Street, the 9-foot culverts, have been installed, so that's done now. And the drainage project at Mallard Point has been completed also. Does anybody have any questions about the report? If not, I have a couple items that.
Really good.
Sir?
The Mallard Point looks really good. I was out there today looking at it.
Okay. Well, it's been functioning well also. So
Good.
Jim,
ma'am.
this is Alice Bridges. I just have one quick question. Has
Yes, ma'am.
there been a decision made by Energy on those 2 street lights?
David did not call. I was in touch with the lineman, and I did not hear back from him. And I have not checked to see if. I'm guessing he hasn't done it yet. And is
Okay.
what you're asking. No, I'll just follow up with him tomorrow.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Jim, this is Ryan Biles. I just wanted to thank you and the department. Patrick Reagan was able to help out the folks on Navajo this week and make some much needed repairs,
Yes, sir.
as well as install some street signs. They're kind of in a unique position where they're landlocked and they get a lot of non-local traffic from school turnarounds and people making U-turns. So he's got some traffic control signs, some speed signs, and also did some street repairs in a very, very quick turnaround. So I wanted to thank you and him for making that happen.
Well, good deal. He informed me what was going on, and yeah, I told him to let's get it done. So, all right. Well, thank you for that. I do have some action items tonight. I think first on the list is our generator maintenance contract. The first one is for the wells and the water plant, and this is just an annual, or they're going to come out annually, I believe. And it's for $2,730. I'm sorry, $2,730. I apologize.
Make a motion, we approve the contract for $2,730.
Make the
I'll
motion.
Second, this is Ryan.
I got a motion made by Coy Butler, seconded by Ryan Biles. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
All right. The next is for a maintenance contract at the generator at the Hicks Sewer Lift Station location, and that is for $1,335.
I make a motion that we approve the maintenance contract for the Hicks location powerhouse generator for whatever that amount was. You said 1456 or whatever it was.
1,335.
Yes.
A second.
Okay, I got a motion by Coy Butler, and I'm going to say a seconded by Miss Alice Bridges for $1,335.
Question, Mr. Mayor, or
Yes.
actually for Jim, I'm sorry. Jim, do you know offhand how this compares to a normal annual rate? I'm assuming it's probably in line. I just didn't know if you happen to know if this is up, down, or about the same from a normal contract.
I had estimates a couple years ago. This is the company that actually did the installation of all three of these generators. And when I had it checked a couple years ago, Powerhouse did offer a good price in comparison to. There's a real big one out of Little Rock that had come down, and I cannot remember their company name, but Powerhouse had beat them at that time, and we chose not to do the contract at that time. But
okay,
yeah, anytime.
And this is for a 12-month period, though.
Miss Regina, are you listening? I want to say it's just for a 1 year.
Jim, is this something that has to be done every year?
Yes, ma'am, I would say so.
Would it be advantageous to get a contract with somebody for a set price at a set term?
I don't think that they will do that because of inflation for the parts that need to be replaced. I think annually they're going to check and see how much has this part gone up and so on and so forth, and then they'll adjust their price accordingly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Brian, this is Coy. When I had those done for the nursing homes, that price is certainly well within line and may even be a bargain from the prices I remember getting before.
Great.
Any other questions? All right, I got a motion by Coy, a second by Ms. Alice Bridges. If there's no further discussion, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, the motion carries.
All right. The third item is a change order for the sewer improvements phase 2, which was Diamond Construction. And currently they're gone, but after they had left, we have found 3 sewer services that needed to be reconnected, and they were unit priced, part of the job. And we called them back to make those repairs. And this is just to pay that final bill for them. And
This
that
is,
amount-
make a motion that we accept the change order number 4.
and it's for $7,519.74. And for an explanation, most of these, typically when you plumb a resident, they have one sewer line, and in these cases, the homes had multiple sewer service lines, and that's how they got missed. Come back later on and found out that one of the 2 was not connected, but that's how that came about. So.
We got a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion made by Coy Butler, seconded by Alice Bridges. Any questions or further
I
discussion?
have a question. Sorry, I keep talking over you. They were supposed to have done this initially and didn't.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I say that when you're installing the sewer main, typically there is one sewer service per household, unless there's been an addition done or something like that. So they go through, and the contractors are locating these sewer services, and I'd say 98% of the time there is one sewer service, and we had a couple residents here that had multiple, and it just got missed. They thought they found the first service and thought, oh yeah, here's the service for the house, I got it. And after we hooking it up, killing the old line, it came to light that it was not connected. It's actually a really honest mistake, in my opinion.
So if they had caught it initially, we would have already paid for it. This is just kind of follow-up.
It would have cost us the exact same amount if they would have got it originally.
Okay.
Because it's everything. It's a unit price job here. They just came in and we're paying so much money for a 4-inch service line, and whether it was added at the beginning or now, it is not relevant. It's the same amount.
Okay, thanks for the explanation.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good discussion. I've got a motion and a second. Any other questions for Jim? All right.
All right. I think that's all I got, Mr. Mayor.
Well, we got to take it to a vote.
Oh,
All right.
I'm sorry.
Give me a second. Raymond's trying to get back into the room here. He's been having some issues. See if he can get reconnected. All right, we still got the quorum. Don't forget to come off of mute. So we got a motion and a second to approve change order number 4, $7,519.74. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? And the motion carries. All right, Jim, you got anything else for us?
No, sir.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
All right, next on the agenda is our police department report. Chief Edwards, sir, you got the floor.
Good evening. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. You've got the September report in front of you. We had 361 total complaints or dispatch calls. 173 of those were actual 911 service calls. Things to highlight is what we have billed to outside detention, which we billed to immigration, which was $660, and billed to probation and parole, which was $8,070, for a total of $8,730. Any questions about the report that I presented? All right, well, that's all I have this evening.
Does anybody have any questions for Chief?
Hey, Chief.
Yes.
Michael, are we still having a lot of car break-ins around town?
Not that have actually been reported to the police department. I'm hearing some wind a couple of weeks ago that we've had some people that cars have been gone through, but no one has actually reported those to the police department.
Okay. Thank you. I heard that also.
I'm instructing my guys to make sure that if anybody walking at night, just to stop and make contact with them to see who they are.
Thank you, man.
Anything else? I appreciate it. All right, Mr. Roy Don, you with us?
Yes, sir. Start out by saying that we had a state meeting here at the ballpark this past Saturday. State commissioner and other assistant commissioners and district commissioners come here. Great meeting. Roanoke is getting a 10-year-old state tournament next year and the 14-year-old state tournament next year. And that'd be a good thing since we didn't play ball this year. In your packets, you should have about the cameras that goes outside the ballpark. They have a bunch of different options. I'm just really wanting to know what y'all want, which one y'all would like to have. And I also sent another quote to Johnson Controls. They had a different type of camera system that goes to the cloud. I sent it to Regina also. I'm just interested in what kind of cameras y'all would like to put out.
Roy Don, do you have a recommendation?
I think
you have a preference.
No problem with the ones we got from Sam's for the over at the shop. Or also, guys, I just got what you call a camera, cellular camera for deer hunting that you load an app down for, and it takes great pictures. The mayor's seen the pictures it took. I've checked in on it. It costs $13 a month for each one of them cameras. We could put a couple of them up to start out with and see how they work, or we could go with a set from Sam's or something like that. We did check with the Bling. We checked with a bunch of different ones. but we need stuff that's battery powered, so we don't have to run electricity out to them, and then we can use cellular on also. I would think. It'd be cheapest way out, either one of them two.
Roy
I mean,
Don,
yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, it's Suzette Elmore. So
Uh-huh.
what would be the fee to have them hardwired? One of my concerns is people stealing, I know, like the deer cameras. They're easily accessible for the most part, and they can literally just walk away with them. So I'm wondering about what would the cost be to have some cameras hardwired to the building itself, that we wouldn't have to worry about someone just physically walking off with any of the equipment that we have. Do you know what that fee may be?
Well, I actually got a private Johnson Controls. Now that was just for the, no, I don't know the electrical part. I don't know what it would cost for electricity for them. That's the main thing, because even the Johnson Control quote I got today, or got it Friday afternoon, was it's like $7,600, and then we're required to have the electricity for them to be able to do it. I'd have to get in touch with the electrician and have him come out and look, and he'll want to know what kind of camera system we're going to use. So if we're going to go with electrical, I don't think it'll be that much, because if we're going to hook them to the building, it shouldn't be that much.
Yeah, I'd like to know what that cost would be to have them hardwired. I know that we have the Ring system, and now it does a live feed. It also notifies you of any motion. It will hold on to those live feeds for like 30, 60 days. So you can use those if, you know, actually someone steals them. You've got live video of who it is. They have night vision. They can notify you at any time. And it's got an app that you just use your phone, and you can look on that live camera anytime, 24/7, and see any actual movement, or just following up just to look around the grounds and make sure there's nothing unusual going on.
That's not a problem. I've got a couple electricians I can call to have them come out and give me an estimate, and I'll just bring the estimate of what they think the cameras would be if we went Ring or whatever, and tell them where we need to install them, and that way they can see what they have to do electrical wise to get them wired in.
Yeah, I know the Rings you can buy, you know, at Best Buy or any place like that, probably Sam's, but they've been really good, high quality cameras for us. And I've had them for over a year. So it might be something to look into. I don't know if anybody else has had any, you know, dealings with Ring or any of these other companies or not.
Suzette, just for context, and to the game camera option, we talked to Roy Don when I went out there and looked at them, and I'm indifferent. But I've also got a Ring, and it's a very similar system. And I talked to Roy Don. My concern too was putting it at what you might think of as, you know, chest or eye level, but these could be mounted, I don't know, 12 feet in the air, and they can be angled down as a possibility. So it would definitely discourage or maybe limit the liability of somebody walking off with one of them for what it's worth. And you do get an unlimited, Roy Don, you can speak to this more than I can, but I'm pretty sure you get an unlimited amount of downloads from that game camera that uploads to a cloud. Is that right?
Yes, sir. It's $13 a month for each card. For each camera. And if you get multiple cameras, it drops a little, like to $10 per camera.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be opposed to let me check in on the electrical part and for hard wiring, and but I think it would be smart to purchase at least one or two of the game camera types, to put it to where we don't have electricity. It costs too much to run electricity to watch different parts. out here at the ballpark.
Yeah, I think that's a quote we might want to look into. Now,
Okay.
do the game cameras do live feed as well?
Yes, ma'am.
With the app, they do a live feed, and I'm sure they have night vision for the
It
reason
has
of,
not been. And when I say you could also set the game cameras to video or straight just pictures. And but like I said, I would like to and the game cameras cost around $150, $160. I got mine for $110 online.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, it was a gift to me, but I don't think it would hurt to check in on both of them. And let me just bring it to the next council meeting, if that's okay. And I'll have a better thing for everything, better control over the situation. If that's all right.
that'd be great.
Pierce is on quarantine right now, and he was actually looking in all the security cameras for me. So he knows more about them than I do at this moment. I try to learn as much as I could today, but there's still a lot to learn on.
Are there any other questions or thoughts that we should consider? We'll table this until.
Hey, Mayor, it's Michael. I agree with what Roy Don, or you were saying earlier about it being up high. I have one up high at my cabin, but if somebody were to try and steal it, by the time they did, I would have been notified, and I know exactly. I have a picture of their face and everything else about them.
So you have a cellular game cam that's elevated.
I have a Nest.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much they're pretty much all the same product from what I understand. Yeah. Ring and Nest, Blue, and these game cams are right in line with the same products where they're giving you real-time live information through notifications. So yeah, to your point, if they're elevated, you would most likely be notified unless you didn't have one of those implements, a tablet or a phone on you. But right. just like in Rodon's situation, he was saying it would upload the video to an iCloud, which you could later check, and you'd have somebody's face.
Right.
Hopefully, be able to identify somebody. So
yeah, that's the advantage of being up high. You'd have to have a ladder to get to mine.
Yeah. Okay. Well, unless there's any other questions or comments about the security system for the park, we'll do some more homework. Rodon, is that clear what we need to look into? And then we'll get back with you guys at the shortest notice that we can.
All right.
Move on to point B.
The other thing is I got quotes for the planter beds out here at the ballpark. And I had two quotes in there, one from Mark Roberts for $4,200 and one from Andrew Griffin Masonry Company Incorporated, $5,075. And neither one of these include the concrete. And I called, given the dimensions of what concrete we need in there, and it's going to be $500 added to this for either one of them that we use for the concrete.
Rodon, this is Suzette again. Did you happen to get us a drawing of what you're envisioning to do on this project that we talked about last month?
No, ma'am. We've got two areas right in front on the west side of the concession stand here, where the mayor said he'd like to see landscape and everything to go in there. And I don't even have the size. I think it's 21 by 17 by 14 and by 12. It's a 21 by 14 and by 12 on the other end. They're kind of rectangular shape. It goes right on the west side of the concession stand. And he's going to be about 3 foot tall. Concrete blocks and stuff with a cap on top of it. I believe it's 32 inches to be exact. And the block match the concession stand and all the dugouts.
I would say there's nothing overly creative about it. If you've had an opportunity to go out and look, you'll see the two open spots that they weren't filled in with asphalt for the purpose of a planter and for potential bench as well. But Ms. Alice, did you have a question?
Yes, I tried to Google this today and didn't have any luck. What does CMU stand for? To lay
Concrete masonry unit.
Okay.
Yes.
It's
So-
usually people use all kinds of wrong terms for it, but we'll just say concrete block. So it in this case, there's a split face, kind of brown color CMU block that's makes up the new concession stand and the dugouts.
Right. Okay. And then after you get the planter or the flower beds built, then you still have to get the plants, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Who's to maintain these flower beds?
Well, that'll be up to the park. It'll be up to us. And
Okay.
I've enlisted the help of Kay Anderson to help me pick out, Kay Anderson, the mayor, and everything to help me pick out what plants and everything best for these planters.
So do you have kind of an estimate, Roy Don, on what that would be?
On the plants and stuff?
Yes, the landscaping part of it.
No, ma'am. This was trying to see if we wanting to know this is what y'all want to do, the planter beds, make them out of block. We try to use, we've been looking at everything in the concrete blocks is the cheapest form for the planters there is. Make it look nice. We kicked in the recycled plastic cross ties. You're not allowed to use regular creosote cross ties for this. The EPA won't let you do it.
Well, you guys have two estimates in front of you. We've had a discussion. Are there any other questions or comments? Are there any motions?
I'll make a motion. We go with masonry, the Roberts Masonry.
Okay, I've got one motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I've got a motion made by Michael Florence and a second by Raymond Hatton. Any other questions or points of consideration?
I know you've explored this, but it just seems like an awful lot for a concrete block planter. Are concrete blocks that expensive?
Well, the problem is you've got, each one of them is 21 foot by 14 foot on two sides. It's 58, 49, it's 61, it's 122 feet of blocks, and 3 blocks high, and then plus a cap block that goes on top of them. And so that's the reason why you're going in a rectangle and there's 2 of them. It's times 2. It's the reason why they're high. It's like doing the whole 22 feet of block.
Miss Alice, this is Ryan. I would say overall the cost seems appropriate based on my understanding. I have not seen a drawing either, so I'm not exactly sure, but construction costs, particularly for smaller jobs like this, are very, very high right now. So it's not a good time to be doing any building, but there may not be for a while. But masonry has been hit particularly high lately. So this is probably not out of line, but it might be a matter of, is this what we need to be doing now? Might be a different question to ask.
Is the cost of it covered under the expenses incurred in the ballpark construction or the concession stand construction rather?
No, ma'am, this was added in after the concession stand was built. This was a last minute decision. But if y'all would like to have a drawing, I mean, I could get a drawing and bring it at the next meeting. It's no problem. This ain't nothing that has to be rushed at this point. I'm just, whatever y'all need, I can get it for you.
Yes, sir. If you would provide a drawing at the next meeting, I think we were under the impression there might be one this time. I think Suzette had asked that last month. So
All right, then it slipped my mind about getting it done.
no, that's
but
okay. I think the visual will help us all.
Okay. I'll have it at the next meeting. Mayor, I don't mind tabling it. There's no big hurry on this.
That's fine. I'll ask Michael then to retract his motion.
So moved, I'll do that.
Okay.
Jerry
Beth, is that clear? Thanks.
I don't know if this will be talked about later, about the sign. Is that going to be later?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's all I've got.
Does anybody got any other questions or comments for Roy Don? Can you tell us one more time, Roy Don, that meeting that we had Saturday? You said that we got 2 state tournaments next year. Can you tell us?
Yes, sir. The 10-year-old state tournament is a big tournament for us. That's anywhere from 10 to 17 teams coming in here, and that's from all over the state. They combined the state this year for next year, where usually we just have the South, Arkansas South, which is really I-30 south of Arkansas, the towns there, but they've combined them where we have Northern Arkansas and Southern Arkansas now all in one state tournament. We're hosting the National League 10-year-old state tournament, and that could be, like I said, anywhere from 10 to 17, 18 teams. And it will run from a Thursday through a Monday. And then we also received a 14-year-old state tournament, which is the same way. But you don't usually get as many teams in it. It's usually around anywhere from 8 to 12 teams. And there's a chance we have the 18-year-old state tournament too. He's going to let me know later about it. They were very impressed with the concession stand. And so to that, I want to say thank y'all to y'all for allowing us to build this.
All right. Thank you, Roy Don. Anything else? All right, we'll move on. We got 2 points of old business on the agenda. The first I expect will probably take most of the conversation for tonight. That's the sanitation contract. So we'll get right into that. All right. Just to give a quick recap on what's gotten us to this point. I found a huge interest in the community a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, when I was doing a campaign. And one of the common themes I found in conversation was folks wanted an opportunity to recycle. We missed the window of opportunity the first year. And so because the contract we were in required a 60-day notification. So we had everything in order this year. You guys remember we pulled the council together in August for a working session. We had 3 companies that gracefully gave us their time to educate the council on all the different variables that go into putting together a waste management contract, and helped us better understand what it is that we're getting for our money, what they do for the city, and what type of services that they provide. We posted a Google form on social media for public input. We got 124 responses, of which 65% said that they would pay for, and the question is here that was proposed, which was, is having the option to recycle an important option for you? Would you participate in a once per week recycling program for all residents despite added costs? Okay. And we got about a third breakdown all the way around. Essentially 65%, 66% said yes, they would like to recycle. 27% said that they would not. And again, keep in mind that's out of 124 people. The last few weeks, we've had a blue 96-gallon demonstration can. It's been sitting out in front of City Hall for folks to come get their hands on and see what it is exactly that we've put into the request for contract. And then we got permission from the City Council to release a request for proposal. And we drafted that stating that the city requests a 96-gallon canister, 1 per resident, with an option to buy additional. The ability of a service provider to write the can upside down, the point of which is to get all the trash and refuse and the water out from the bottom of the garbage can. Sealed bids came in, I believe it was, Regina, remind me, that was the 7th that came in into City Hall. And each bid was to provide us with their plan for the Christmas season, any additional information that they wanted the city to know, And one of the things that we put in the contract too was that if we had recyclable options, we wanted a chain of custody, an annual chain of custody that would provide the city with proof that our recyclables were actually being recycled. Okay. And so each of you had the packet, and this is the breakdown of the companies that provided bids for the city. We are currently paying $11.25 a month for our waste management program. That's once a week pickup with no standardized garbage cans. And so at this point, I believe that summarizes the recap of everything we've gone through. And I'm going to open the floor up for discussion, and we'll entertain a motion.
Make the motion that we stay with community that right now. I think it'd be more
Okay.
easy for the people.
All right. So Raymond, I barely heard you come in. Can you say that motion again?
I make the motion that we stick with the one that we have right now. And I think it would be better for the people to loan them, at least on this side.
Okay. So there's been a motion made to stay with the current service provider, right? Which is Douglas, and their bid was $12.50 for the waste management program, and then $14.50 if we add an option for recycling.
Second.
Okay, so there's been a motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Why would we stay with what we've got when it's more expensive than Green Environmental Services? What is the concern that it would be better to stay with what we've got when they're not actually set up at this point for the recycling?
They would pick up the stuff that the other companies not going to pick up.
Okay, I thought that's what you were concerned about. I pulled this from the information that I compiled the last time, but we have 3 services that will pick up additional bags. Douglas, they'll pick up 2 additional bags. Zella's, but they don't offer recycling at all. And Green Environmental will also pick up additional bags. Now, I know if we're getting uniform trash cans, the goal is to not have bags of garbage out on the street. And these 96-gallon cans are larger than what most people presently have, so it may not even be an issue. But if either one of these rear loading with tippers, and there are 3 of them, will pick up additional bags if it's an issue.
Alice, I tend to agree with you. I like the prices that Green Environmental Services gave us. I don't know why we wouldn't want to save that money if we can not only continue with good service, they want to commit to small communities and be involved. Plus, we have the recycling program. I was highly impressed with the recommendations we got, like from Mayor Smith out of North Little Rock, and the others that highly recommended us consider Green Environmental Services for our trash pickup. So to me, that would be the way to go.
Yeah, Suzette, this is Coy. I concur with you and Alice as well.
Well, and you know, with the current price being $11.25 a month, for $1.90 additional monthly cost, we could have standardized trash cans, recycling bins, and the recycling program, plus they will pick up bags because they have people that are not on the truck. The ones that have the
Well,
side loaders, they're not on the, there's nobody on the street, but these companies have somebody that will pick up the bags if somebody just has an overflow.
Yeah, but we already got the people picking up the bag, Ms. Bridges. And adding money to people now during this epidemic. I can't see us just forcing things from people that's gonna
Well,
become a burden.
Mr. Hatton, I appreciate your position, but if you look at the bid sheet, it's gonna be $1.25 more just for trash pickup with what we've got, $3.25 more with recycling. And even with recycling, Green Environmental will only be $1.90 more. So it's going to go up regardless of which company we pick. It's just how much you want it to go up.
Pat Cordell, if your hand is still raised.
It is. I believe, and Mr. Hatton can correct me if I'm wrong. I believe what Mr. Hatton is asking in his motion is that we don't change anything from what we have right now.
Thank you.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that was his motion, just so he's not saying we go with Douglas in their current bid. He's saying we go with Douglas as what we are paying currently. The non-uniform trash cans, nothing's changing. That's the motion, and it's my understanding.
Yes, sir. That's right.
All right. Just want to make sure everybody's on the same page.
Okay, thank you. I wasn't clear on that. I thought we were approving what's on the bid sheet.
Well, so when we released the RFP wasn't to stay non-standardized. What we released and what they bid on was standardized garbage cans.
So this is Ryan. So what I'm asking is, no one has a bid for the non-standardized garbage cans. The city council voted to let the RFP based on having standard. So that ship has sailed in terms of whether or not we're going to have a standardized, at least advertise for it. If I understand correctly, we had decided we wanted these services.
That's correct. And that was approved by the council as it was framed last.
And Douglas has not told us that they would maintain their current price at their current service, because that wasn't asked for. So that hasn't been put in writing.
That is correct.
So that can't be decided tonight.
We already got a motion and a second.
Hey, this is Michael. I got one thing. As far as Green Environmental, they're also offering free service for city facilities and a 30-yard canister for our spring cleanup at no charge.
I know what we got, but I don't know what we're gonna get. I understand that, but I'm not saying that y'all are pretty pleased with who we get and the service they have rendered.
Mr. Mayor, I think it's important to recognize that our constituents are asking for more than what we currently have. So this is the council's response to that request from the people that we're serving, is that we offer more.
Where else does this company that we're talking about, not Douglas, but the other one, where else do they pick up the trash and stuff at? And also, I wanted to know why this was not labeled as a trash pickup thing. It was labeled as a recycling thing. Because that confused a whole lot of people. When you say recycling, they thinking it's just going to be a bin or something out in front of their yard to put pasteboard and other things of recycling. And I don't think some of them knew it was for trash also. And that's two different trash cans. That's can't put throwaway trash in a recycling bin. So that's two things you got to have out there.
Mr. Mr. Jones, to answer your question about where they are currently working, we have a letter of recommendation from BB's mayor, Judsonia, North Little Rock, and they don't have, Green has a recycling bin. The recycling, if you notice there in the bid sheet, would be twice a month, and it's an 18-gallon bin. It's not another large trash receptacle.
So what are we going to put our trash in?
In the trash can that's provided by the company.
So that is two trash items that how are we going to recycle without anything to put the recycling product in?
The recycling goes in a recycling bin, which they will provide. And in their plan of action, they said they would start delivering the trash carts, the 96-gallon containers, December 29th. And then the recycling bin will be inside that container. And they have a schedule for their plans. It would be very similar to what we've got currently as far as the days for the routes and so on.
Maybe I'm not explaining myself clearer. I'm
Yes,
still
sir.
trying to figure out who's going to separate the trash from the items that need to be recycled.
Hey, if I could say something, Ephraim, the recycling is optional per household. You don't have to recycle if you don't want to. It's
okay.
You'll have two bins, a recycle bin and a garbage bin. Is that not correct?
That's what I'm.
Yes, that's correct.
I think that's gonna throw people off.
But so understand too, you've got both these columns that are on the slide right now. You've got trash only, so the council can make a decision, make a motion to go with one of these companies in the option number 1 column, which is no recycling program. Okay, and if we stick with Douglas with no recycling program, we will get a standardized can because that's what we've put on our request for proposal, and that's what all these different companies bid on based off of the way we drafted the RFP as approved by the city council. So if we stick with Douglas with no recycling option, then our monthly bill is going to be $12.50. And if you want an additional 96-gallon garbage can, then you can pay $5 for that garbage can. Okay.
A month.
To own it.
Now, if you want to stay with Douglas and you want the option number 2, because you say, I believe my constituents want to participate in a recycling program, and I want to stay with Douglas, then your motion would be to go with Douglas, option number 2 for the recycling, and your monthly cost would be $14.50. And if you need an additional recycling bin, then that would be $5 additional that month. So that's how that's broken up.
So either way it goes, $11, that was $11 or something that was price that was quoted. If I need additional cans or whatever, I got to pay an extra $5. So instead of the $11, it is $15.
Well, keep in mind too, it's a 96-gallon garbage can.
Yes, but I got a 96-gallon garbage can that I put out every week, and my family is a large family. We cook. We got more than 6 or 7 bags, and Douglas have been picking up my bags. Now I'm not with the average family with 2 kids or 3 kids and have 1 little trash bag or 2 little trash bags every week. And I think that's what Mr. Haddon is talking about, where he on his end that he's representing. Those people down there, they cook and they have big families, and maybe the 67 that said they would pay for all that is the 67 don't have big families, and I have a big family, and that's why I'm looking at, and I went to BB and I talked with people. I didn't talk with the mayor. I talked with people, and they said that's when I asked where do these people pick up. I went to BB and I went to Jacksonville, and the people that I talked to, which in BB I talked to 26 people, in Jacksonville I talked to 42, and they all said they called every week to the water department and complain about the trash services that empty stuff on the ground and don't pick it up and stuff. And that's why I asked, what do these people pick up at? And that's what I was told. So maybe the mayor and somebody else there have not got these complaints and stuff because they might not have went to the people, but that's what I did personally.
My daughter lives in BB, and she, I didn't talk to anybody else, but she's been very pleased with their service. And when she's had to contact the company with questions, they've been very helpful. We put out the survey. We did the preliminary work. The people that replied said they would like to have recycling. And I don't see why we're even not discussing doing recycling.
Well, Alice, I agree with you. I think it's a service to our planet to start that recycling program. So many cities in the state and across the nation have been recycling for years. It's something new that we're introducing to Lone Oak. I know a lot of individuals in Lone Oak that do recycle, and they do have to take their plastic and metal cans and goods to a recycling center, and their paper, their newspapers. That's been going on for years, but I think to serve our people well, we have got to get on board with this recycling program for our own environment. And so, my vote is to go with a company that has been highly recommended from mayors. They gave us the best bid to service and to save our constituents money, plus gives us the option to start recycling, which should be a duty that we all should take part in. That's just my opinion.
Let me ask a question. I remember one of the last meetings that we had before the COVID-19 hit, and there was a young lady that took on the place down past Perry's or whatever, and that was our recycling bin. And she was asking us to do more recycling with them at that council meeting. I don't forget the young lady's name.
Leanne.
And I researched her or anything. What happened to that?
You talking about Leanne Poole?
I don't remember her name, but she just came in. She talked about how we need to start, recycling is right down here past Paris Motel. And she said that they recycle and they wanted people to start being able to recycle stuff there, at least the people in Lone Oak. And I don't know what happened to that part of the recycling part.
And the program's still there, Ephraim. You can take cardboard.
Why are we trying to add something to a recycling thing if we have something available here?
I think it's a matter of ease and convenience, because people who want to recycle, they don't recycle one piece at a time in a trailer or a bin, so that they can take it down to the CAPDD recycling center on Frontage Street, like you're saying. But if they had a garbage canister at their house and they had an opportunity for a continual pickup, then they would be able to more easily participate.
But would that recycling bin go to them, or will it go to whoever company these people work for? Because that won't be helping these people here in Lone Oak.
I don't understand that question. I'm sorry.
Let's say we go with the company that everyone is proposing right now, besides myself. When they pick up their recycling items, would they take them to the place here on Frontage Street, or would they take them somewhere else?
They'll take them somewhere else.
Okay, so we're not helping someone here in Lone Oak from recycling, and so that business is going to go down in the drain.
No, not
The current recycling center is not a private company
No,
that
it's
we're
not.
trying to help a small business. It's part of the CAC. Forgive me on the acronym, but
CAPDD. It's a state funded program. Yeah, it's not a private enterprise.
But it is something offered here in Lone Oak. And we were just told that there wasn't nothing offered here in Lone Oak. That it was insinuated.
Perhaps one way to look at it is CAPDD is not coming to us, so we're actually offering the opportunity for government to work for the people instead of the people, coordinating and working with the government's requirements. And we love CAPDD for what they do, but that particular services does not encourage its own use. Plus, it's not just municipality; it's a regional recycling program.
The recycling bin would be something like you could just keep out in your garage. When you emptied some aluminum cans, you could toss them out there. Newspapers, plastic drink bottles, things, laundry detergent bottles. And then when it was time for them to be picked up, you just set it out on the street and they pick it up. And the thing is, it will be recycled, but nobody in Lone Oak is profiting from what CAPDD is doing. And people tend not to do something if they have to put out any effort to do it.
Yes, I agree with that, Alice. It's the convenience for those that do want to recycle for the need of our environment. And I think it will encourage people to get into the recycling mode and do so much more with it if they have the convenience of a bin that they can actually put those items in.
So,
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I would be very concerned if there wasn't some language in here that they've already stated they will pick up extra bags if they're there.
Mm-hmm.
If it was just what's in the can or it's in the street, then yeah, I'd be concerned. But the fact that there's people walking on the street, they make one trip. These type of trucks make one trip down the street, not two, like some of them talked about. So they will pick up extra stuff. With that being said, we beat this. We talked about this in a working session, and we voted to move forward with this. I'd like to vote on the original motion that's on the floor.
So that's fine, Matt. I don't know that we can actually vote on that motion because an RFP was released that is counter to what we released in the RFP. What we released in the RFP, and I'll go back to this slide because I don't have the commercial post with me, but we asked for everybody that provided the sealed bid to provide their costs for a standard, and all this was approved by City Council last month too. We submitted in the packet the way we were going to frame the RFP, and it was voted on, and so we moved forward with those terms. And the terms were for each company to provide a cost to pick up trash once a week, and then with or without recycling services, and to provide a standardized 96-gallon canister, the ability to turn the garbage can upside down. They were to include their Christmas provisions, what they were going to do for trash, any additional information that they wanted the city to know, and then to provide us with a chain of custody for all the recyclables. Regina, as the keeper of the gate, is there anything that I missed in terms of how we structured that RFP and what it says? Because we didn't include that in the package, but I'm going off my notes here.
Troy, or Mr. Mayor?
Sir.
I don't believe Mr. Hatton's motion referenced RFP or anything to that extent.
So when Ryan interjected when you interjected and said, hey, I think his motion was to keep the contract as it currently is, that's not the way we released the RFP by permission of the council. So to vote on keeping the contract as it currently is, I don't believe that's going to work.
We don't have anything in writing from the current provider that says they will keep the same level of service for the same cost. So that we can't make a decision based on that and without that in writing.
We didn't request that.
It's an erroneous motion because the way the RFP was drafted and what we asked these contractors to provide us with. So it's not really an option to keep the contract as is, because last month we voted to move forward with the RFP as it was presented to the council.
If I may
So-
jump in here,
If-
I think the motion was to keep the contract with the current people, but not necessarily keep the current contract. Can the person who made the motion clarify what that motion actually was then?
So Raymond, you got the floor. You had the initial motion. You're welcome to go ahead and clarify exactly what it is that you meant, so we can get that on record. Mr. Hatton. Sorry, you're muted, sir. Mr. Hatton, I can't hear you. If you can unmute. I said you've got the floor. You can go ahead and reframe the motion as you wish.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
I make the motion that we stay just like we are. And on last month, I didn't even vote with y'all on that. Y'all voted to carry that on over. But everybody's saying they talk to their people. I talk to my peoples too, and they're not looking for it for the new change. And I know there's gonna come a time when we need a new change, but it's not now.
So as I heard that, your motion is to keep the contract as it is currently drafted in the file in City Hall. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That is not applicable to the RFP that we released, and not applicable to what the business at hand, which was for them to provide us a price for services as we drafted them and as was voted on last city council. So it's technically an erroneous motion and it can't be voted on. You're welcome to make another motion. And to your argument, if you wanted to get by with the absolute lowest cost option, it would be to change providers with the no recycling option at $10.74 a month. You'd still get a standardized garbage can. To your point.
I'm not change. I'm gonna go with what I quoted earlier, and I'm gonna stand behind that.
Okay. Ginger, could you maybe add some clarity to the procedural rules here for us?
Well, I think I agree with the mayor on this, that we put out there what the qualifications were for the contract. So the choice was last month to have said either keep the old terms or have new terms, and we made the choice last month to have new terms. And then, so all of the groups, including the current provider, have provided quotes on these new terms that the mayor set out in that RFP, which it is in our packet, or at least is in my version of it. So I would agree that the motion that's being proposed is not one that can be considered, given that that's not part of what the terms of the contract were that we proposed out there for it to be put. Now you could make, I mean, I'm not suggesting anything either way on it. You could put a motion forward that would take the current provider at the prices quoted here. But as far as going with the current provider under the old terms, I would agree that that's not what was within the RFP.
So with that stated, I would say we do not have a viable option or motion currently on the floor.
If that's the case, can I make a motion that we go with green?
You can make that motion. I would ask you to be specific with or without recycling options. And we did that particularly so that the council could make a decision if they chose to enter into a contract with or without recycling with each one of these contractors.
Okay, I make a motion that we go with green with the recycling option.
I'll second
I have a motion on the floor made by Coy Butler, seconded by Suzette Elmore, to go with the Green Environmental Services contract, option 2, for recycling services. Okay, I'm gonna open that back up. Are there any comments?
Okay, did Green put in writing that they will pick up bags if they're left out there? Or if their canisters, when they empty the bag, waste something on the street, that they will get out of their truck and pick it up? Because I'm hearing that they won't.
Well, Green's
Is
submission,
that in the contract?
Green's submission's in the packet. I'll have to scroll down and look at it. They submitted by far the most material, so you have to forgive me, but I'm looking for that particular answer right now. Ephraim. I do remember that they do have folks on the back of their trucks. They're not a no-touch service. Miss Alice, do you remember that?
Yes, sir. I'm looking for it specifically in the RFP. That was not included.
And they're not going to do it. And they're not going to do it from the people
Yes,
that I
sir.
talked to.
They are, because when I initially contacted them, that is in their information that I've got a copy of right here. 1 cart plus 2 bags, amount of pickup.
What if I got 3 bags?
Well,
it's gonna stay out there the next week.
I doubt.
That's what Raymond is talking about, and that's what people I have talked to. That's what they are telling me. These are the people that they drive by their house. They got more than 1 bag, or they have busted that bag when they picked up because they had it on their trash can and they didn't take it off of their trash can, and it fell and busted, and they did not pick them up. Now that's coming from people. If I'm a person that own a garbage pickup service, and you ask me that as a man, if I was driving the truck, yes, I would. But if I hire someone to drive the truck, how can I say they're going to do it?
That's right.
And that's the only problem that I have with it. If Greens or whoever would write that down, that if we bust a bag or if we pick up something and it wastes, we will pick it up. Unless they got that specifically wrote down, they're not going to do it, because people are telling me that they don't do it.
And Carlisle, I went to Carlisle and they say they're not going to do it over there. They're not as good as we saying they are.
Carlisle has a different. They have a different provider. Carlisle doesn't. They're serviced by a different.
The Carlisle service is different. And I forgot Carlisle service name, but they don't pick up either. But the ones, and I went to BB and I went to Jacksonville and Carlisle every Wednesday, so I talked to them too.
Mayor, can I call for a vote?
You can. Yeah, there's a motion on the floor in a second. It's just open for discussion. All right. I was trying to do some due diligence and specifically single out what I did see was underneath the Christmas trash collection. It's recommended that all residents put their household waste in the cart and put their wrappings, boxes, etc., and bags inside their containers. This reduces animals from getting into their waste. It makes the bags that workers have to put into the trucks lighter, and it also potentially reduces injuries. So a motion's been made, it's been seconded, and a call for vote's been made. All right. So I'm going to take it to a vote at this time. Don't forget to unmute. What we'll do, Jerry Beth, is we're going to go call the roll. I'm going to go just down the line. So if you would, please call the roll. Don't forget to unmute.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I've been fighting internet over here. We're voting for green and recycling. Is that correct? Is that the motion?
Yeah, so Coy made a motion that we go with green environmental services, option number 2 with recycling. 18 gallon.
Okay. Thank you.
And the motion was seconded by, I think, Suzette Elmore.
Okay, are we ready? Call the roll. Is that what
Yes,
we're
ma'am.
doing?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go through.
Okay. Mr. Cordell,
Yes.
Mrs. Bridges,
Yes.
Mrs. Elmore,
Suzette, you're muted. If you could, I see you're still in the room with us. Just continue, Jerry Beth.
okay.
Hey, I'm sorry. Did y'all get me? My internet dropped again. I had to get on the phone.
I ain't got you yet. Mrs. Elmore, Mr. Biles,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Nay.
Mr. Hatton,
No.
Okay, I don't know if it's official or not. I'm going to say, Ginger, you're on here. We're doing the best we can. Suzette just sent me a text message. She's trying to vote.
She's on now. Ask
And
her
I-
again.
Yes, my vote is yes. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, ma'am. All right, can you read that tally, Jerry Beth, please?
yes. I'm sorry. I'm having to deal with 2 kids that will not leave me alone. Y'all go.
I know the truth.
Mr. Florence,
So my husband,
Yes. Michael Ford.
Mr. Butler.
Yes.
Okay, so on my tally, I have got Mr. Hatton and Mr. Jones are against green environmental.
All right, so I see 6 yeses, 2 noes. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. The motion passes, and I appreciate you guys working through that. All right, we're going to move on. We're still in old business, and that is going to bring us to that neon sign that we found and have proposed to be restored. And that's the City Hall sign. Ginger had a good idea, which is to get an estimate for LED lights, which would be cost effective in terms of energy consumption. But one of the things that we found was that it actually is not cost effective in terms of renovating the sign. And so, Roy Don, I know you and Pierce have been doing the lion's share of the work here. If you would just tell us what we're looking at to get this sign fixed, and then we can decide whether the council thinks it's worth hanging up over City Hall as a nostalgic City Hall sign. Okay. What'd you guys find out, Roy Don?
Well, Pierce said he found out that the LED on the O's and the C's cannot be LED cannot be in a round form. They said, and it would have to be in block form, and it would cost more than a lot more. It costs up to $8,000-9,000 to try to redo that sign in the LED. Now they did give me a quote on a new sign, which is $5,409.70. That's for a brand new sign in LED. Or we could fix the sign we've got for $2,000 in neon. That's what we've got on the sign for y'all.
All right.
Rhoda, I know you've done your research on this, but I'm a little confused on it. I've got a Yingling beer sign that's looks like an old neon sign that Yingling is in cursive writing and is written in neon or in LED. So I'm a little confused as to whether maybe we're talking about the same thing then. It's definitely LED and it's in cursive writing.
We went to Arkansas Sign and Neon. They do LED and they do neon. And then we went to Action Sign over in Jacksonville. And Arkansas Sign and Neon said they could not bend the LED like that. And same thing with Action Sign. Both of them said that. Now, they didn't tell me that. They told Pierce that. And they, but they did.
Roy Don, this is
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. This is Ryan. I'm working on designing a couple of neon signs right now. One of which is exactly what Ginger's describing. Another one is not. It's a traditional neon. And if this was not an existing sign, what you're describing would be possible. But what they would actually have to do is cut out the face that's there and then form an acrylic and then run that LED inside. So they can't technically bend it like they would bend the neon on the exterior face of the cabinet, but they could retrofit it, which is not what the situation that we have physically. The properties of the cabinet as it is can't be retrofit in that way. We could create a new sign that's like that would essentially replicate it, but I don't know if I explained that well, but I understand why they're telling Roydon that. It's just two different ways of making that look that way. So LED can do that, but not on this sign.
Not on this sign.
Okay,
I
just had Hugh find this for me, and like literally it's like bent wire. I mean, this is all LED lighting on this. So obviously I'm not the expert on this. Ryan, you're probably more, Ryan and you and Roydon have actually done the work on it, but this one is LED and it's bent and cursive and all kinds of stuff. So, but whatever, I mean, you guys are the experts on it.
Well, no, what they said is on this sign, it would cost more. That's where it said it would cost $8,000 or $9,000 to redo this sign in LED. But to build a new sign out of LED was for $5,400 because they wouldn't have to go in and cut it out and everything. They'd build one double-sided, the same thing. It should be an estimate in your packet, is it not? There should be an estimate from Action Sign for LED sign for $5,409.73. Because I forwarded the email to Regina last Wednesday. That's Tuesday.
We don't have that.
Okay, well.
Again, I trust your judgment on it, but my sign didn't cost $5,400.
Well, I know, but this is for about the same size we've got right now. Same size sign. And Arkansas Sign and Neon said they can make us a new sign, but they didn't give us a quote on it. My understanding was that we wanted to keep the what do you want to call it, the diagnostic of the old sign, and but they can be in neon. I mean the LED, but it has to be on a new sign. It's more cost effective to do it on a new sign than it is this old one.
All right, so the floor is open. Roydon has done some homework and provided the council two different options: LED, which is about $5,400, or the neon. Replace the neon tubes that it originally came with. And I think the discussion last council was that it used to be a red neon, and that we would mimic the old sign with the red neon. So the floor is open. I'll entertain a motion to let it lie, and we'll move on. We won't fix it. Or if you guys think that it's has enough value and importance to hang up in City Hall and get it fixed, then I'll entertain a motion to go with a $2,000 estimate and get it fixed.
I make the motion that we go with the $2,000 estimate in neon.
Second.
Okay, motion's made by Coy Butler, seconded by Alice Bridges. Any other points of consideration or questions? All in favor? Don't forget to unmute. All in favor?
What budget does this come from? Trey, Mr. Mayor.
Can we use downtown beautification funds, Regina? That's where I'd say it'd come from. You're muted.
Mr. Mayor, there was a previous discussion about retail economic money. I think Alderman Florence may have mentioned that in a prior discussion.
Okay. Say it again, Regina, to be clear.
There's money for signage and things like that in retail economic development for downtown.
Do you recall how much is in that off the top of your head? You don't have to look up.
Quite a bit.
Okay.
Quite a bit in that line item.
Okay. All right. So I got a motion made and seconded. Any other questions? All right. Don't forget to mute.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. This is for $2,000. Is that correct?
$2,000.
Okay.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion carries. All right, thank you very much. Moving to new business here. All right, Teresa, are you still with us?
I'm still here.
All right, thanks for hanging in there with us. All right, you got the floor. You can explain to us what the request is, what you're looking to do, and let the council decide how they want to move on it.
So, council's, I guess, aware that beginning in January 2021, we become a state district court. And we're just trying to, I guess, streamline some of the things that's been going on with the court. One of the things we've done with approval of council was last year, we changed our case management system to the state system. But in transitioning, what we've discovered is evidently no records for the district court have ever been destroyed. We have about 50 filing cabinets full of old files. Arkansas statute requires that we keep them back 7 years, just the basic files. There's some files that we have to keep forever, but so I got in touch with the administrative office of the courts, had them send me an affidavit. Statute provides basically that we have to have an affidavit stating what we want just to destroy, the method of destruction, and the time period that it covers. I think you all were provided a copy of, or I sent Regina, I think you all provided a copy of the law and the affidavit that the administrative office of the court sent me. I've been back in some of the old file cabinets, going through some of these boxes of old files, and I found stuff back in the 90s. So in addition to this affidavit, the statute requires that I present it to the city council and the quorum court. I started with you guys, and have it put in the minutes, the approval of the council to go ahead and destroy these older records. I'm looking specifically, let's see if I can find my copy of the affidavit. Complete case files, show cause orders, case informations, files for suspended imposition of sentence, serve, recalled, and quash warrants, and copies of citations that the court has in its possession from the time period of 1990 to 2012. That's actually a little longer than I think technically I could probably go through 2013 if I started at the end of the year, but that covers a time period where I can get these records cleaned up. Our plan is to have them shredded. We've made contact with Shred It, who is the shredding company that everybody uses, and they've given me some quotes on shredding these documents, but we're going to have to piecemeal this. There are so many records that we're having to go through to ascertain if it's something we have to keep, something we can shred. So we're going to do this, I guess, a little bit at a time. But under the statute, once I get approval, these specific records have to be destroyed within a year. So I'm just asking that the city council approve the court beginning to go through these records, shred the ones that we are not obligated by statute to keep, to start cleaning out some of that backlog. We've got files. I've got 20 file cabinets in my file room. We've probably got at least that many back in the back storage, and then in the middle of the building back there, there's just piles of boxes, and that's all going to have to be gone through. But there's no sense in starting to do that until I can, as we go through it, I can stack them up and gather enough together to have them shredded and just start getting rid of them. My plan is eventually I'll be back in front of the quorum court once we get through that phase. We're not obligated to keep the financial records of the court past a certain number of years, but I'm not going to touch any of that till we just get through these case files. So that's kind of why I'm here. I prepared the affidavit so that the mayor can sign off. I've been in touch with quorum court. That's my next stop, to get the county judge to sign off, because the statute provides both governing bodies that pay for the expenses of the court have to approve the destruction, and there just has to be a record of it. So if anybody has any questions, that's kind of what I'm asking for, is for you guys to approve me to start going through that list of case files that's provided in that affidavit during the time period listed through 2012 and start getting rid of some of that stuff.
Okay, it's pretty clear to me. In your packet, you guys see, it looks like a per unit cost. Are there any questions for the judge?
You said the quorum court also has to approve because they help with finances. How would that be determined whether the city or the quorum court pays for it?
Right now under Screetnack, we send the bill to the quorum court for half of the expenses of the court. So they're going to pay for half. However, it's lined out. I just plan on having Regina figure out where I can take it out of my budget. They pay for half of the expenses. So I don't expect, like I said, we're going to do this piecemeal. So it's not going to be any big hit. We're looking at less than $300 for me to call them out to shred 300 pounds of records. So if it
Thank
looks
you.
like, okay.
Make a motion, we let the judge start in this process. She's described it.
Second.
Okay, I've got a motion made by Matt Cordell, seconded by Ephraim Jones. Any other points of consideration? Any other questions? Don't forget to unmute. Then all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. You got anything else for us, Judge?
I don't. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a good evening.
You too.
All right, guys. Next is a request to add a street light to a current telephone pole that's on East Palm and Thomas Street. Just simply need a motion.
Motion to, I'll second then.
I think it's Regina, I think you said it was an additional $11 a month. Is that correct? Okay. So I've got a motion, believed by Ryan Biles. Is that correct?
Coy had the motion. I had the second, Mr. Mayor.
Okay,
Thank you.
a motion by Coy Butler and a second by Ryan Biles. Any questions, points of consideration? Very well. All in favor, don't forget to mute. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Next, we have an agreement from CAPDD, which is just an administrative services agreement for the Lincoln Street sidewalk extension. If you guys remember, we got approved for that grant by Metro Plan about a year ago, I guess it's been. That's about approximately 1,700 feet of sidewalk that starts at Palm and Lincoln and extends south to Woodlawn. And I need a motion to approve the services agreement.
So moved, Ryan.
Okay, I had some folks talking on top of each other. Michael, I think, did you have a question?
No, that wasn't me.
Well, this Ephraim, I was making the motion.
Okay, so I got a motion by Ephraim Jones. Do I have a second?
I'll second that. This is Ryan.
Okay, motion's made by Ephraim Jones, seconded by Ryan Biles. Any comments? Any questions? Don't forget to unmute. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, next is certification of our 2021 millage tax collection. Says a motion must be made to keep our breakdown the same for 2020 or a reduction in millage can be made. You guys have the certification description in your packets. As I understand it, we're maxed out on mills for the millage. And so this is essentially procedural. So the floor is open. I'll take a motion to accept the millage certification.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion made by Coy Butler. I think a second by Raymond Hatton.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Any questions, any comments? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, we've got two more points of business, and they're both center around the Planning Commission. You guys know I suggested an ordinance last city council that allowed the administrative office in the city hall to manage building smaller, non-large scale and non-conditional use permits, which would help us with continuity and save contractors time. What I'm proposing now is that we go from a 7-person planning commission to a 5-person planning commission, which is going to help with continuity. It's going to help maintain an ease of quorum. And it's also going to be easier to share conscience among those 5 on the board consistently. We're working with Metro Plan currently with Karen Deal, as you know, as the chair. We're working with Bernadette Rhodes at Metro Plan to get scheduled for some, I guess, OJT, some on-the-job training in terms of small city code enforcement, planning, zoning considerations. And I'm working with Jimmy Von Tunglen, which, by the way, this was one of his recommendations, is that we reduce the number from 7 to 5. And I'd like to see the Planning Commission start working on actually planning the next 10 and 20 years for our growth patterns in the general plan and in our Unified Development Code, because there are some changes that would help. And so at this time, I'll entertain a motion to put ordinance 771 on the floor.
So moved. This is Ryan.
Go ahead, Ephraim.
Motion by Ryan Biles and seconded by Ephraim Jones. Ginger?
Ordinance number 771, an ordinance to amend the number of members of the City Planning Commission, declaring an emergency and for other purposes. Whereas cities of the first and second class and incorporated communities have the power under Arkansas law to adopt and enforce plans for the coordinated, adjusted, and harmonious development of the municipality and its environs pursuant to Arkansas Code Annotated 14-56-404. And whereas ordinance number 615 created a 9-member Lone Oak City Planning Commission, and ordinance number 750 amended the number of members required to 7. And whereas the city believes it will be better served with a 5-member commission because it will be easier to attain meeting quorums. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lone Oak, Arkansas. Number 1, ordinance number 750 is hereby amended to reduce the number of commissioners to 5 members. At least 2/3 of said commission shall not hold any other elected or appointed municipal office. The members of the City Planning Commission shall be nominated by the mayor and approved by the City Council. Number 2, all other provisions of ordinance number 615, which are not in conflict with this ordinance, shall remain in full force and effect. Number 3, all ordinances and or parts or provisions of ordinances in conflict with provisions of this ordinance are hereby repealed to the extent that they are in conflict. Number 4, that the City Council, having found that the economic development of the city is being hampered by delay in adoption of this code, an emergency is hereby found to exist, and this ordinance shall be in full force and effect after its passage and adoption.
Make a motion to accept the first reading.
Second.
Motion's made by Ephraim Jones, seconded by Raymond Hatton. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Take a motion to suspend the rules, second, third reading, title only.
Second.
I need a motion.
So moved, Michael.
Okay, I take a motion by Michael Florence and seconded by Ephraim Jones.
Ordinance number 771, an ordinance to amend the number of members of the City Planning Commission, declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
Motion to accept the second and third reading, title only.
Second.
Motion is made by Ephraim and seconded by Raymond. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, take a motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
All right, motion is made by Michael Florence, seconded by Raymond. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any
We have an
opposed?
emergency clause.
Yes, sir. Motion to adopt, is that right? Made a motion to adopt the emergency clause?
Yes.
Second.
Motion is made by Michael Florence, seconded by Alice Bridges. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, ordinance 771 passes. Thank you, guys. All right, last item on the agenda is still in line with the Planning Commission remodeling. And that is, we have a few members that are currently stepping down from the Planning Commission. And with the reduction from 7 to 5, that leaves 1 spot to fill. And I'd like to nominate Mr. Adam Justice to that position. Adam's an Army veteran. He was a prior Justice of the Peace for District 5 in Lonoke County. He's a business owner and entrepreneur, and he's a local resident. So with that, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. And second, this is Ryan.
Okay, motion's made by Coy Butler, seconded by Ryan Biles. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right. Thank you very much. At this point, I take approval to pay the bills.
So move.
Second. Cordell.
Motion made by Raymond Hatton, seconded by Matt Cordell. Any comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Sorry, any opposed? All right, bills are paid. All right, I'm going to open the floor to Ms. Moore. She's got an announcement.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to announce that the Lonoke County Library System will be opening all of its branches beginning on Wednesday. This will allow our patrons and population to actually come in physically to our libraries. We are going to furnish the disinfecting stations, the masks, and then we do ask that these people please maintain the social distancing required and recommended. Now, along with that, each library, because of the amount of space, physical floor space, will be a little bit limited. At Lonoke, at your library there, you will be allowed 10 patrons at one time to come in, browse the stacks, choose their selections, take them up, check them out. And at the same time, 3 people will be allowed on the public access computers. So we really encourage you to come out and please come into the library. We have been closed at Lonoke for a little time because we did some remodeling. We had to have a floor jackhammered, and so we decided that was perfect time to put new floor coverings in, and we painted a little bit, refreshing, redesignated some rooms. Unfortunately, at the time, our maker space is going to continue to be closed, and also our brand new meeting room will be closed, but we hope to open those up shortly after the first of the year. So please come in. My headquarters is there also. Come on in, and I'd be glad to treat you to a cup of coffee and have a conversation with you. Are there any questions?
Ms. Moore, appreciate the announcement. I just want to say too is that part of my vision for the community is an allocation of financial support to the Lonoke Library through what we've already previously discussed before COVID hit. That's an interlocal cooperative agreement, and so I don't want you to think that that's been tossed aside. It's still very much front and center, and something that I hope to address soon. Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else for Ms. Moore? All right, I got two comments. You guys don't forget, Thursday, October the 15th at 6 p.m. we have our third quarter condemnation meeting. The link to that will be going out hopefully as soon as tomorrow, and hopefully you guys can make that. We've got I believe 3 properties, but I know we've got 2 on the list to be discussed. Huge announcement to be made. We this month we've secured the FEMA grant for the study that we applied for. That's $131,250 drainage study grant that will be funded by federal funds. Had an opportunity to speak with floodplain expert with McClellan, Mr. Jay Whisker recently, who we RFQ'd for services and discussed the scope of this study. And right now it's very preliminary, but we are talking about the ability to potentially get down to the driveway and culvert level all across town, which would be a huge impact on how we get water out of the city, out to the Roshai and Bio 2. So it's a 75-25 grant. And if you do the math on $131,250, the city would be responsible for approximately $31,500. So for about $31,000 or so, we'll end up getting a comprehensive drainage study plan.
Yes, sir.
That's great.
Thanks, Mayor.
All right, guys, I had one more point that I want to go ahead and get through. I know it's been a long night, and if there's no objections to this, then I want to go ahead and discuss it. And that's the estimates that we received today to finish up the sidewalk renovation between South Center Street and Academy Street. And I've got an image to show you guys for that piece. Like I said, I got those estimates in today. If there's no objections, let me know and we'll push it off till next city council. But if not, then I'll want the council to discuss. I had Janie work on getting estimates. You guys remember previously the council, I believe, had approved up to $7,000 to fix the sidewalk that I've got highlighted here at the corner of the intersection. It goes up about halfway down. It's 130 feet, 5 foot wide. We asked for 3,500 PSI, ground 2 of those stumps and repair 2 sewer line cuts. Harris Construction opted out. They didn't. That's not a project they wanted to move forward with. So we had to go get bids, and Janie was only able to secure 2 bids. They're drastically different bids, but both contractors were given the exact same specs. And I'm sitting here with them in my hand right now. Signed copies they got today that have exactly what you see on your slide. One was bid at $3,500. The other was bid at $9,504.
Rob, make a motion that we accept the $3,500 bid.
Second.
Second. Yeah.
Okay, got a motion made by Coy Butler, seconded by Ephraim Jones to go with Mr. Reginald Wilkerson. Is there any other consideration or comments?
Mr. Mayor, just one quick question. This is Ryan. In your drawing there, I know that's a Google map, so it's not current, but does this include everything up to the corner to the south where it intersects Academy, I guess? So that goes over the culvert and
all this has been renovated recently.
Thank you. Okay, great. That addresses my question. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? I got a motion and second. Don't forget to unmute. All in favor of going with the Reginald Wilkerson's bid, $3,500, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right. I appreciate your work tonight, guys. Thank you very much. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion's made, seconded. Any objections? God bless you guys. Have a good evening, and we'll see you Thursday.
All righty. That's 6
Thank you.
o'clock.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. 6 o'clock.
Thank y'all.